Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a first impressions on a foundation, which it has been quite a while since I've done one of these videos, and you guys really seem to enjoy them, and I also really enjoy filming them. They're one of my favorite videos to film, so I'm very excited to be doing this today. And the very first thing I want to say is that if you guys have any other foundations that you want to see me review or do a first impressions on or whatever, definitely comment down below and let me know, and I will try my very best to do them. Because people always ask me to review other foundations, but then they don't actually tell me which ones they want to see. So if there are any particular foundations you want to see, comment down below and let me know for sure. But anyways, the foundation that I am going to be reviewing today is the Mercier Smooth Finish Flawless Fluid Foundation. And I've actually had this for quite a while and I haven't tried it yet. I actually got this for free while I was working for Sephora, and I just haven't tested it out, and I've been wanting to do one of these videos, and I didn't know what foundation to try, so I figured since I already own this, I might as well test it out on camera and review it for you guys. As always, I'd like to give you guys kind of an introduction to the foundation before we get started with the application. So this foundation retails for $59 Canadian or $48 USD, and it's standard 30 ml or 1 fluid ounce. This foundation is available in 24 different shades, which is a pretty good range. And also when I was looking at the foundations, I noticed they have a really good variety of undertones. So hopefully you'll be able to find a good match in this foundation. I personally have the shade Ivory, which since I got this for free for Sephora, I didn't choose my shade. I just chose it out of like a bin, and this was like the only one in there. And I was like, I'm sure Ivory will work for me. I wear like foundations called Ivory from a bunch of other lines. But the weird thing about this is that it has a very strong warm yellow undertone. So I don't know how it's going to work. I think once I blend it out, it's going to look okay. But what I'm actually going to try and do, my mom used to wear this foundation and she has like a leftover bottle. She wore the shade Vanille, so I'm going to see if I can get a couple drops out of this and kind of mix them together to kind of color correct this. Vanille is the shade I would probably go for if I was just buying this for myself, or they have a shade called Creme too, which is a little bit lighter with more neutral undertones. To be honest, what I would probably do if I wasn't doing a first impressions on this and filming a video, I would actually mix in a couple drops of my Cover FX custom cover drops, because I have these in a very fair kind of cool tone shade, so I can kind of add them to foundations and color correct. But I just want to use just the foundation on its own today so you guys can really get a good idea of how it performs. So I looked online and there's not a ton of claims for this foundation and like a ton of information out there. It basically said it's a long wear, water-based, oil-free foundation. It's also supposed to be like humidity proof, sweat proof, water resistant, everything like that. And it says that it's meant to blur the line between real skin and makeup, so it's meant to be very natural, very lightweight. It says it is a bi-phase formula. You do have to shake it really well before you use it, and it says it combines very true to color pigments with reflective waters. So fancy. And like I said, you do need to shake it really, really well. I know a lot of people complain that when they open this, some foundation kind of squirts out from like, I don't know, the pressure building when you shake it or whatever. So I know that it can be kind of messy. And I looked both on the Mercier and the Sephora website, and neither of them really had any claims for like what kind of skin type it's for or what kind of like coverage level it provides. I obviously have a lot of acne and scarring and things like that, and I also have very oily skin, so that's what I'm going to be testing it on today. I'm assuming it's just kind of geared towards all skin types, and it doesn't also really have any claims for the finish of it other than that it's natural, so I don't know if it's going to have a really natural finish or that's just kind of like the feel of it. But anyways, I looked at the reviews too, and most of the reviews were extremely positive. And Mercier recommends applying this foundation with either their Mercier sponge or your fingers, so I'm going to be applying it with the Beauty Blender. So let's go ahead and get started with the demo. I have cleansed and moisturized my skin, and I did also apply a little bit of the Makeup Forever Mattifying Primer. Now, I think I'm going to return this, to be honest. It doesn't really do that much, but I figured I'd throw on some primer anyways, and we'll just see how it goes. But like I said, you do need to shake this foundation really well. All the descriptions distinctly use the word vigorously shake it for at least 10 seconds, so just shake it really, really well. So then it also says you're supposed to kind of tap the end a few times after shaking it. I assume maybe that helps with the product getting messy and getting everywhere, but I don't really know. So I'm going to take a couple drops of this just on the back of my hand. And then like I said, I am going to see if I can get a couple drops out of this nearly empty one that my mom has. Oh no, there's still a little bit left in there. Okay, perfect. So I mix those together on the back of my hand. Hopefully that'll kind of neutralize the very warm golden undertones in the shade Ivory and make it an okay match for me. So I'm just going to start applying with the Beauty Blender the same way I always would do, and just kind of start pouncing that onto the skin. So far the coverage is looking really good. It is a very like liquidy and wet kind of foundation. It's not too thin. It's kind of similar to the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in terms of texture, it seems. Maybe a little bit thinner. Alright, so that was a few drops from both different shades, and that's kind of what it covered. I am going to go ahead and mix a little bit more because obviously that did not cover my entire face. So far, I don't know if it's going to dry more matte, but so far it is quite luminous and dewy. I don't know if it's just because it's still wet, but we'll see. Alright, so that is kind of what one layer is looking like. It's definitely starting to dry a little bit more matte, but it does still have a little bit of luminosity to it. The coverage is pretty good. I like really full coverage foundations, as you guys know, just to cover my acne and scarring and hyperpigmentation and all that fun stuff. It did pretty good, like on this side of my face. I think it looks pretty good, but as you can see here where I've got some like particularly red acne basically. I don't know why I've just laughed saying that. But it didn't do the best job covering it up. Like, it's still showing through quite a bit. I'm going to let this dry for a few seconds and just kind of try building it a little bit. It does like feel very natural on though. Like, it really doesn't feel like I'm wearing a lot of makeup, so I definitely think it, so far at least, lives up to the kind of lightweight claims. Now that it's a little bit more dry, I'm just going to try and build it on this area. Building okay, but like I said, it's still just not really giving me that like super full coverage look. So I'm probably gonna have to go in with some concealer. I didn't get particularly great results trying to build up the coverage where I needed it. Like, it didn't get like heavy or cakey or anything, but I feel like the coverage just wasn't that buildable, to be honest. So I just wanted to zoom in really quickly so you guys can see what it's looking like. This is just the foundation on its own before I set it and everything and apply concealer, which is going to amp up the coverage. I'm not in love with this foundation, but it's definitely not the worst foundation I've ever tried. And really the only reason I'm not in love with it is because of the coverage. It's just a little bit less than I would like. I think if I mixed it with the Cover FX custom cover drops, it would be like perfect, to be honest. But it applied really easily. It's not patchy or streaky at all, and it does seem to kind of smooth out my skin and give a really nice flawless finish. The actual finish of the foundation is more on the demi matte side, I would say. It's definitely more matte feeling, and it's a little bit powdery feeling too to the touch, but it's not like 100% matte and flat. But I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of my face makeup, and I will talk to you guys to go finish up my face makeup and do my brows and everything. And they started snow blowing my street outside, and it was so insanely noisy I could not film, so I had to take a little bit of a break, actually a fairly long break, and I was so annoyed. Basically, when I like said I was going to go finish off the rest of my makeup, it was almost 1. It was like 1:45, and now it's like 2 o'clock. I had to wait that long. But anyways, this is what it's looking like now. I decided to go ahead and use like mostly Laura Mercier products. I was just in the mood to do that. But if anyone is curious what else I used on my face, I just used the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer for under eye and the blemishes that I needed to conceal. And then to set my eye area, I used the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. And then to set the rest of my face, I used the Laura Mercier Mineral Powder in Soft Porcelain. This is very, very fair shade, so I used it because the shade was looking a little bit off, and I think it helped match it pretty well. I don't know, still looks kind of off, but it's definitely better. So this is what my skin looks like close up now with powder and everything added. Still not great coverage, like there's still some kind of pigmentation showing through here, but it's all right. The finish is slightly more matte than I would like, but I don't really mind it. The only thing is that it is kind of settling into my like line that I get here from smiling, and I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit creasy right there, but I just get that for most foundations, so it's not a huge deal to me. It's easy to go in and like blend it out and fix it. But yeah, that is what we are dealing with right now. Like I said, I've already had it on for an hour, so this is like my first mini non-check-in, but I am going to be doing a couple of check-ins throughout the rest of the day, letting you guys know how it's wearing and everything like that, so I will talk to you guys in my next check-in. So this is going to be my first official check-in. It is just about 7 o'clock now, so I've had this on for about 6 hours, and I'm sorry if I sound really tired. I just woke up from a nap and I'm about to go to a movie with my boyfriend, but I don't have much to report on yet. The foundation I think still looks really good. Also, I'm sorry for my lack of natural lighting. I haven't done one of these videos in a while, and I didn't think Like, I didn't realize that there wouldn't be natural lighting for my check-ins, but hopefully you guys can still see that it's looking pretty good. Once again, a little bit creasy around here, and I feel like it looks like I kind of have like a foundation mustache. I don't know if that's picking up on camera, but so far I'm really impressed. It's held up really well. It's worn off a little bit on the sides of my face here, but that's from my nap. And other than that, I've just started to get minimally oily, which usually by like 6 hours of wear for my foundation, I'd be quite oily and shiny. So I'm pretty impressed so far, but I will check in with you guys at the end of the day when I come home. All right, so this is going to be my third and final check-in for this foundation. It is now 11 o'clock, so I've had this foundation on for about 10 hours, and I have to say I'm really impressed. Like, I think in terms of wear time, this has definitely been the best foundation I've tested out in my first impression series. It's worn off in a couple places, but I think that's just from touching my face and the nap I took earlier, basically. But it's held up really well. Like, it's hardly even oily in my T-zone. I have very oily skin, so typically my makeup tends to separate and kind of like melt in these areas throughout the day, but it has held up incredibly well. And it is extremely lightweight. Like, I honestly don't even feel like I have any makeup on my face. My skin feels really good. Hasn't settled, hasn't like accentuated pores. It's just looking really good in my opinion. So I'm really happy that I tried this out. I would definitely recommend you guys checking it out as well. I'm definitely going to be using this foundation more now that I know that I like it so much. But yeah, that was my thoughts on this product. I'm really happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, if you have any foundations that you want to see me review, comment down below and let me know. And give this video a thumbs up if you do like them so I can know if you guys want to see more of these videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys!